Join me on a photo walk at a beautiful Japanese-style garden with the Canon EOS M6 Mark II and the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. Most of the equipment is discontinued at this point, so keep that in mind. You should be able to find it used, but sadly EFM has basically gone away. I recorded this back in 2022. It's been sitting on my work drive for a long time at this point, but still, I did enjoy using the equipment at the time. I don't have any of it anymore. I was using the silver version of the M6 Mark II. I had the silver and the black one at one point. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on the camera this time, more so on the lens. For the settings on this photo walk, I was using aperture priority with a minimum of 1/60th of a second shutter speed with a maximum ISO of 3200. I did have video stabilization on for the few clips that I recorded. This camera does not have sensor-based stabilization, so it's a digital crop in video mode. I didn't do much processing to the photos. I was using Canon's Digital Photo Professional version 4 with the CR3 RAW photos. I did adjust the brightness on quite a few of them. Exposure consistency on this photo walk was pretty bad for whatever reason, but I was able to adjust things pretty easily with RAW photos. I set automatic for the picture profile. I exported those RAWs as full-size JPEG images and put them into the video project. Onto the garden. Bad weather can often be great for photography. In this case, I decided to continue doing photography as it started drizzling pretty heavily at times. I did have a microfiber cloth with me, which kind of helped deal with some of it, but still, it was a little concerning. Everything was fine afterwards. Just made sure to wipe off and air out the lenses with the Sigma EFM version of the 60mm f1.4 contemporary lens. It's a very unique combination. It's relatively large, which isn't ideal, but you still get a decently wide field of view. They do have this lens on various mounts, but you do need to keep in mind that it is different between them. The Canon EFM version of this Sigma 60mm lens does not have a gasket on the back mount area. They specifically take note of that compared to the other versions of this lens for different mounts. I don't understand why they weren't able to do that, but maybe it was just a physical limitation of this combination. So if you do care about the weather-resistant gasket and you're on EFM, sadly, it does not have that. For quite a few of the photo opportunities on this photo walk, I did take pictures at different apertures, so I'll go through those a little bit so you can see. Didn't do a ton at f1.4, but f2, f4, just trying to see if there is any noticeable difference between them. Obviously, I was hand holding the camera, so that will be a large factor in image quality. The ISO and shutter speed will reflect the different apertures, so I wouldn't say this is a big helpful thing in regard to looking at the image quality. Color. This photo walk was in late October. I think it worked out well. There's still a lot of color at the time. I enjoy this time of year for that. I think it's great for outdoor photography. Obviously, depending on your region, I'm in northern Illinois, so get that nice benefit of beautiful oranges and other colors from the leaves. Combine that with the rainy atmosphere, I think it worked out well. Considering this camera has an aps-c size sensor, 16mm lens, you're gonna have a field of view on the specific combination of 79.9 degrees. So still relatively wide. Add to that the benefit you can focus decently close with this combination. This lens is pretty large, and still you look at the minimum focus, the reproduction ratio is 1 to 9.9, which isn't bad for a wide angle lens like this. And the minimum focus distance is 25 centimeters or 9.8 inches. You're still focusing decently close to the front of the lens. You've got 9 aperture blades in the lens, and of course it goes from f1.4 to f16. f1.4 gives you a lot of options for what you want to do artistically based on aperture. However, it is challenging to use considering it's a relatively wide angle lens. I tend to like getting closer to subjects with this lens. I think it's a great option for this style of photography. Walking around beautiful nature situations, getting up close, you'll still get those nice blurred out backgrounds. With the aperture range, I don't know, using f1.4 might be even a little too extreme if you're close enough. So I tended to use f2, f2.8, things like that. So there's still decent amount in focus up close. I do have a lot of examples of that on this photo walk. Beautiful leaves, a lot of color, nice amount of detail. I'll get up close on some of them. I'll zoom in so you can see what it looks like up close. Obviously, shutter speeds could factor into the equation. Know that it won't be perfect, but I do tend to move pretty quickly, take snapshots, things like that. This is not a scientific thing. It's more of an enjoyment thing. Also keep in mind that this Canon camera has a lot of resolution to it for that size of sensor, so I wouldn't go too hard on the image quality of the lens. I do really enjoy getting up close with this lens, but it is, I think, also very good for standard landscape style photography where the subjects are further out. I did try to do a bit of that at the garden. I think it worked out okay, but I was having some challenges keeping things straight throughout those style photos. It's a little difficult to see on the screen, but maybe in situations where you can use a tripod, I'd say consider doing that. Obviously at this garden, it's not possible, but still, I think I got some of the photos decent for those more traditional landscape pictures. This lens is surprisingly versatile considering it's a prime lens. It might be an interesting option for astrophotography and such. I haven't done that, and sadly I don't have this equipment anymore, but maybe something to at least look into if you're curious. I love going out doing simple photography like this, walking around, taking photos. This combination worked great for my personal style of this type of photo walk. Really enjoyed it. Nice calm atmosphere. Taking pictures. It's a good facilitator for going out, getting some exercise, enjoying the time. Really nice combination of gear. Pretty compact, functional. I like Sigma lenses. I wish I could use more of them. I'm currently using a lot of Nikon gear, and sadly Sigma full frame is not on the system. Hopefully in the future, if you see this Nikon, consider adding Sigma full frame to the mount. It'd be great. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this photo walk of a beautiful Japanese style garden in late October with the Canon EOS M6 Mark II camera and that Sigma 16mm f1.4 contemporary lens. Scott Photography Bonsai, thanks.